Hey y'all, it's Tawana, and welcome to season 2 finale of Tawana Talks. Get ready to let's take it back for some 80s vibes, reminiscing on some old episodes, and the magic of everyday life encounters. Let's make this finale truly outrageous. Oh, hey everyone. Welcome to Tawana Talks. And can you believe that this is season 2's finale? Like, I wasn't even going to do a podcast, period. That all started. Um, I told you guys the story behind all that, how all that started. But I certainly wasn't going to do a season 2. I was like, I'm just not doing this. It's a lot of work. Um, yeah, I was like, I'm not even sure, like, if I want to do it. And then I had to be reminded um, that it was placed on my heart to do it. So I was like, yeah, get your break, take your break. But it's happening. And then remembering that I do it for the just one, and that just one could very well be just me. And so if I benefit from it in an emotional way or any other type of way, then it's not in vain. And like I said in the very beginning, it started off as a little bit of self-therapy for me. And so here we are, season 2 finale. Already have the plan set for season 3. And I can't believe that I am wrapping up the 19th episode of season 2. We've had some solo talks, we've had some amazing guests, and we covered everything from parenting, teaching to leading, and probably a couple other things in between. So let me just take you a little bit down memory lane, like back to the late 80s, I think it was, somewhere around there. And so I'm a Gen X, Pepsi generation. And so this is of my generation. And so for those of you who don't know, cartoons were the things that we watched after school or in the morning. It was not these skit of real life reality. I don't even know what they call it, but I really appreciate a good scenario of a cartoon or a sitcom because I think it taught um, people relation, interactions, and conflict resolution and those things. But going back to the 80s, I remember a particular cartoon called Gem and the Holograms. And it was all about ordinary Barbie who had these magical powers in her earrings. But side note, let me just take a side note for a second. Y'all see these earrings? These are magical earrings. Let me see if I can zoom in for those who are looking. And if you see it, it's kind of like I think it's like a crown, and then I think it has like a little unicorn still on the crown, but then it has a T in the middle for my initial. And these were these were a gift from my son and his girlfriend for my birthday, and so these are my gem truly outrageous earrings. And it wasn't by coincidence that I wore these today. I just, as I was mentioning, I was like, oh, I have on some very special earrings there. But I say all that to say Barbie had these magical earrings that she wore. And whenever she was about to go on stage, she would touch her earrings and she would say, Showtime Synergy. And from there, boom, her hologram team would appear and they would rock the stage. And I just love the show. Now you had the Misfits who were all about ruining the set and trying to figure out why is Jam truly outrageous, truly outrageous. My Gen X's, you guys understand that theme song there. And so they would try to figure out how to ruin it. But that got me thinking back to about how every encounter we have in life is like a performance. In fact, it's no secret I was a teacher for very many years, and I was in the classroom for some years before I moved into administration and into other levels of leadership. And I absolutely love teaching. Like teaching was a performance for me. It was like I'm on stage and I have to give the Grammy winning performance. And so I need to know my script. I need to know where I'm supposed to be, places everyone, and what I'm doing because I am on stage. I'm giving a performance and my audience matters. And that in that case was my students. So I saw every class as a chance to give my students an unforgettable experience. But before stepping into the classroom, I would touch my earrings and I would whisper, Showtime Synergy. And just like that, Jim, it reminded me that teaching for life, for the what I was teaching life. And just like life, it's about giving your best. And I just remember that. Like, I would look up and I would say that anyone who was from the 80s knew exactly the episode I was talking about. And maybe, I'm not episode, the cartoon, but maybe they didn't know like why I was doing it. Um, but here's the thing, your experience is not the experience, it's just one perspective amongst many. And so we've had some great moments in this season. Like, remember, we talked about reflecting on your childhood into your parenting and how that even led into your leading. That's like the streamline and the bloodline of season 1 and 2. Or that episode that we had where we talked about or dug deep into effective leadership and how even leading people in your own family or leading those who may be of a older generation or those who've had more experience. We talked about what that looks like and the dynamic in that and how we can learn from other generations who were born in a later time period that you were born in, or the need to have intentional rest, and the episode about normalizing support, or one of my favorites, when I had my mom on as a special guest to a very special Mother's Day episode tribute. And I wish that I would have recorded the pre to getting her onto Zoom, because that in itself was hilarious challenge, but it was one that she was up for. And that just speaks testament to my mom's support. Like, she is of the baby boomer generation. Zoom is not something that she interacts with on a daily basis, and this was her very first time. And the fact that she endured that to get on to be my guest for that was really heartwarming to me and very special to me, and spoke volumes of her support. But I wish that I would have taped the bloopers in that before, so we could have shared in that moment. And she certainly would have appreciated the good laugh as well. And another one of my favorite episodes was reminiscing my day for Father's Day, and reminiscing and remembering my dad. And just bringing back great memories of the times that I had with my dad when he was still on this earth, and celebrating his music and his legacy and his art. And those were just some really great moments. And those individuals, my mom and my dad, being a great part of my life and building me into being the woman that I am today, and the individual that I have been throughout my entire life. And from all of those episodes, season 1 and season 2, which again, I wasn't doing, guess what? I am now an author. Like, through that, I have my own book now, and it is titled Empower Her to Thrive. It is a 30-day self-reflective devotional for mothers and daughters, and the focus is on building, fortifying and building relationships between a mom and a daughter. And it is inspired by my youngest daughter, Tyla, and the life that we've lived together, and some great funny experiences of her life. It was definitely built out of a labor of love, and I just can't wait for everyone to read it and get access to it. Information will be in the description for how you can purchase that book. But I just can't believe, like, through all of that, it birthed an author in me. Who would have ever guessed or ever known? But I mean, as a mom, like, our secret of being a mom, of not of being a mom, but our secret goal is to have our babies come home and visit us, even when they don't have to. Like, there is a particular instance that I can remember where my son came home. There's an instance where my son came home in this, and it makes me think about this. And this is something very small, but to a mom, we all can understand this. There was a particular time my son came to visit. We were hanging out for a moment, and he was walking out with a roll of paper towels under his arm. He's like, "Mom, can I have these?" And I was like, "Yeah." And in that moment, I was like, I've arrived. Like, my adult son is leaving the house with something. I've arrived. In that moment of seeing him, and I even took a picture of it, him having that roll of paper towels under his arm and leaving out, was like, it was heartwarming to me. It was like, just like none other. And then my oldest daughter, who lives in Georgia, and whenever she comes to visit, I know that she is bringing some laundry to wash. And in that, it does not bother me, because I'm like, I've arrived. When my daughter comes and is bringing that laundry, I'm like, that to me, it's heartwarming because um, it's just the feeling of being needed and desired by your children and them still coming to you for necessities and things like that. Yet, yes, you're grown-ups and yes, you live your own life and yes, you're now self-sufficient, but still coming to your mom for the little things in life is very heartwarming. And that's all a mom really wants, is to know that that you know that we're still here, and to know that in some regards you still need or even want us. And so, yeah. But let me share with you what I have in store for what's coming up next. So season 3 is going to kick off in September of 2024. So season 3 is kicking off in September 2024. Now let's go back. Remember, I didn't want to do a podcast. I wasn't even going to do season 2, and now I'm already talking about season 3. Yes, it is kicking off September 2024. And if you don't know, September is my birthday month. So I plan on doing it big for the kickoff of season 3. I am diving in headfirst on building relationships, ADHD parenting, and mom life. And I plan to dig deep in all of those areas. And so I'm excited about what's in store for that, having some fun, having some great nostalgic throwbacks from the 80s and the 90s, having some laughter, some great guests will be on there in addition to just reflections that I've had in life. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to share that with you all. So in that, remember, every encounter is an experience, and it's those experiences that help to shape us. So I want to thank you all for taking this journey with me. Enjoy your summer and stay tuned for more in season 3. But until then, please keep embracing the beauty of the messiness of life. Thank you so much, and I will see you in September.